Hello, Nico. Hello, Chili. Oh, look, a cameo.
Good evening, football fans. Good morning, afternoon, evening, whatever time zone you are in. I am, I am Bill. I am Bill Corpus Crispy Murphy. I'll tell you that story later. And welcome to Week 7 edition of Thursday Night Gridiron on the Sports Insanity Network. I am joined tonight by my good friend John Haraska, who's been away for a
Come
couple
on, man.
weeks.
I am glad to be back.
Welcome back. So, and you got your cat joining us this evening.
One of them, anyway. Say hello, Nico.
Hey, we're
I guess he's
feline
camera
friendly on this
shy.
net. We are feline friendly on this network.
Yes, we are.
We're also canine friendly. So,
Oh,
any dog lovers out there?
yep.
But
Update:
anyway,
Nico is not camera shy. He just has the zoomies.
he just says what?
He's got the zoomies.
I don't want to know what that is. So let's just move on.
High energy, running around like a madman.
Oh, okay. I thought it meant something that I shouldn't talk about on camera.
Oh, no, 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 no. Trust me, you're fine.
But anyway, Week 7, Thursday Night Gridiron here in the NFL. We are talking about tonight's game between Bronco Country's Let's Ride and who that? Who that? Who that team gonna beat them Saints? But before we get to any of that, we got some news that happened this week.
Yes, we're starting by going around the league with two pretty big trades with two pretty quality wide receivers going to the AFC East.
Yes, we do.
Yep, that would be Devontae Adams to the Jets and Amari Cooper to the Bills.
Absolutely.
Uh,
So, what do you think is the impact of all this?
as far as impact goes, I would say the Bills, at least with Amari Cooper, they have a better pill to swallow, I guess, getting Cooper over Adams because that's less than $1 million they had to absorb into their salary cap versus 11 million and a whole crap load of restructuring that they would have had to do if they got Devontae Adams, who, by the way, is now back with his old play caller, Aaron Rodgers with the Jets. So that could create some electric moments in the Big Apple for Gang Green.
Oh, absolutely. And Devontae Adams, who is Aaron Rodgers' old boy from Green Bay. So they're reunited and it feels so good.
Wouldn't be
Uh,
surprised if someone made a video montage with that in the background.
in the last two seasons, when they were there, Adams averaged 119 receptions, 1,463 receiving yards, and 14 and a half receiving touchdowns.
Now, those are some killer numbers right there. And that's just the last two seasons that they played together alone.
And Garrett Wilson and Mike Williams have not really lived up to the hype. Alan Lazard has sparks, but I think you really needed to get this key right here. You really needed to get you really need to get this key guy. You really need to get Devontae Adams and him also with on the bench with Nathaniel Hackett, who has kind of been sucking as OC, but now that another piece is here, maybe the Jets can salvage what's left.
Yeah, that's definitely an optimistic standpoint, which I agree with, but flip the coin, the Jets are running out of excuses. So if they don't turn things around with these guys, they are in deeper trouble than we realize.
Oh, they're screwed.
Yeah.
Bro, they're beyond screwed.
Then again, this is the Jets we're talking about.
Just end the season.
Hopefully they do end the season with a trip to the playoffs. And now that Rodgers and Adams are reunited, I think they have the tools to do it. It's a matter of if they can execute.
Or just endure the suffering.
Hoping there's none of that. Even as a Giants fan, I hate to see any New York teams do poorly.
But we can always laugh at them, so.
Eh, well, considering the Giants didn't do so well for years, we know the pain. So,
So anyway,
yeah.
but like here's the thing. Now they got to take on the rest of Adams' contract, which was a 5-year, $140 million deal that he signed in 2022.
Yep.
So yeah, you got 3 more years, guys. Have fun.
Mm-hmm. Good luck, boys.
Yeah, but we talk about Aaron Rodgers getting up there in age, but Devontae Adams, he's almost 32. He's been dealing with a minor hamstring injury. So will he make that splash?
Honestly, even if it's not as big of a splash as he and Rodgers made in Green Bay, I think they will, at least for a little bit, because like we were saying before, the two of them had amazing chemistry together in Green Bay. If the Jets have good breaks, they can recreate that no problem.
Wow, I think they could be connected there, but now what we have to say is how is this going to you know, it's going to affect the Jets and the Raiders are
Yeah,
because they get a conditional third round pick.
right, and that could become a second round pick if one of three things happens. One, Adams is named an All Pro. Two, he's on the AFC Championship roster. Or three, he's on the Super Bowl roster.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, and those are tall orders right now, considering where the Jets currently stand. But if they do it, by God, congratulations to them.
And now we go to the other one for the AFC East.
Yeah, Amari Cooper was sent to the Bills along with Detroit's sixth round pick from next year's draft in exchange for a 2025 third round pick and a 2026 seventh round pick. And like I said earlier, Cooper's $900,000 versus Adams's 11 million. I feel like I know which one I would take if I was leading the Bills.
You would take
Amari Cooper.
Amari Cooper because he's cheaper.
Cheaper. He's still a quality wide receiver.
And he's getting out of that disaster known as Deshaun Watson.
Mm-hmm. Dude couldn't invigorate his offense to save his life.
He sucks. Deshaun Watson's terrible.
Yeah.
I guess Cleveland wishes they were now Detroit.
For real.
I don't know if you get that reference or not.
I've heard Jan make it a bunch of times in our Yankee group chat.
At least they're not Detroit. We're not Detroit. They probably now wish they were Detroit.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, the deal may not have even happened if Cleveland had beaten Philly on Sunday because if they did, who's to say they would have gone into sales mode?
Because Philly is now because they beat Philly. Did you see that? Sirianni was getting booed and Sirianni just mouthed off to them.
I actually didn't watch that game. No.
Philly is the most overrated team.
Yeah.
But I think Cooper is going to be a good fit because now they have that big time wide receiver to fill in from Stephon Diggs that they got rid of earlier this season. So, or they
Yeah.
traded for. So I think this is going to be a good fit and a good target for Josh Allen. Agree? Disagree? I've gone insane.
Absolutely agree. And Cooper is even excited for a fresh beginning, saying that it 100% invigorated him and that it's a blank canvas, that he gets to control his destiny, which honestly, I think that's a really good outlook,
I think
especially
it
for a guy
is.
who's been traded mid-season before. So,
I
yeah,
agree.
yes, excuse me. Yeah, I think he can make it work in Buffalo. Dare I say, I see both the Bills and the Jets making the playoffs. Hell, could even see him in the AFC Championship game if they both get their shit together.
Oh, absolutely.
Wouldn't that be something?
Oh, yeah. Like we're already potentially waiting on the Subway Series right now. Can you picture if we had a Jets and the Bills in the playoffs?
Yeah, and then with either the possibility of facing the Giants, well, I shouldn't get ahead of myself. The
Let's
Giants
not get
are looking
ahead of
so hot.
ourselves, dude. We only won 2 games this year, and that game was a snore fest
Yeah,
on Sunday night.
yeah. Trigger happy optimism at its finest.
Yeah.
Holy hell.
Okay, so we're gonna see what happens in the AFC East with those news. We got we got Sean Payton homecoming to New Orleans. He was there from 2006 to 2021. He he had a record of 152 wins and 89 losses and 9 playoff appearances with 1 Super Bowl win. Is
And
he
it was
getting?
the Saints' first Super Bowl win back in
Yes.
Super Bowl 44.
Yeah, 44. You're right. I had to think about it for a second. Sorry.
Yeah, I
You
just
know,
wanted to make sure I scribed the Roman numeral right in my notes.
who uses Roman numerals anymore? Am I right? Obviously, Super Bowls do. But now I remember that Super Bowl. I was with a bunch of people who were all saying, the Colts are gonna win. The Colts are gonna win. I was the only one saying, no, I like the Saints here. And they all laughed at me. And when that game was over, I'm like, who's laughing now?
Hey, here you go.
I was right. Please purchase your Bill was right shirt in the gift shop.
Yeah, this is going to be a homecoming for him. Yeah, but he is in enemy territory, so there's no telling whether it will or won't be a lot of cheers. But if we cross over to baseball for just a brief moment, Tiger shortstop Javi Baez and Yankees first baseman Anthony Rizzo both got a warm welcome when they came back to Wrigley Field earlier this year. So even though Sean Payton's in enemy territory, I think he's going to get a lot of cheers, maybe even a standing ovation from the Saints crowd.
I think so too.
Yeah.
So anyway, let's transition into he gave them their only Super Bowl, so I think he's gonna do fine.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. All right, let's transition into tonight's matchup. Denver last week they fell to the Chargers 23-16. Bo Nix went 216 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception, and rushed for 61 yards. And we had touchdowns from Cortland Sutton and Troy Franklin.
Yeah. Honestly, Bo Nix looked good in this game. But as far as the Broncos as a whole go, 2 of 3 for 150 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception, and rushed for 67 yards. And we had touchdowns from Cortland Sutton and Troy Franklin. Yeah, honestly, Bo Nix looked good in this game. But as far as the Broncos as a whole go, the effort was too little too late because they, if I remember correctly, ended up just being shut out through the first three quarters and then finally ended like with a big scoring drive and then just fell a touchdown short, which is a shame, really. But sometimes that's just the way of the beast.
Oh, absolutely. And it was a close game. I'll give them that. I'll give them that. It was a close
Yeah,
game. And with Cortland Sutton and Troy Franklin, that was thumbs up. Now,
sure.
how how do you think Bo Nix is looking so far?
So far, I think he's looking a lot better, having turned the Broncos around from where they were. Like they started 0-2, now they're 3-3. Definitely a step in the right direction, but they have to keep this momentum up if they want any semblance of a chance at a winning season.
Couldn't agree with you more because they went 1,082 yards, 5 touchdowns, and 5 interceptions. He's been a little rocky.
Yeah, that is his first season though, so I can't exactly hold his feet to the fire just yet.
Oh, of course we can. That's why we have a podcast.
All kidding aside,
But no,
growing pains
I think he
are
started.
present.
I think he started off very rusty. It's those interceptions, though, man. That's the one that really.
Those will absolutely murder you if you
Oh,
throw too many of
absolutely,
them. If you
absolutely.
throw one at the exactly the wrong time.
Intercept. I look at interceptions more than sacks because sacks it's mainly the O line's fault, not the quarterbacks.
Yeah, and any sort of turnover will absolutely wreck a football team if accumulated in high numbers. Because if you keep giving the ball away, you're crapping away your opportunity to score. And that you can't have on a frequent basis. Otherwise, kiss your jersey goodbye.
Yes. So anyway, Broncos are currently 3-3. Can they stay in the playoff race all season?
Um, it's going to be tough, but I think they can do it. Because, like I said, Bo Nix, heck of a turnaround so far. Even though we're only about a third of the way through the season, if they can get it together and string some wins, I think I think you and I will be all right.
Yeah. Well, if you look at Denver, their upcoming schedule, they got next week, they got Carolina, which should be an easy win. But then you got to look at the next two games, though, Johnny. You got Baltimore, and then you got KC.
Yeah, two tough opponents for sure, especially the Chiefs.
They're gonna,
But if Bo Nix has an all-pro day and he and his receivers just get after it and the O-line blocks, it's going to be a high-scoring game because I know the Chiefs can have high-scoring games like it's nothing.
they can also, they also got, then they got Atlanta.
Another tough team.
Then they got Vegas, the Las Vegas Raiders of Oakland, of Los Angeles. That's for Mike Rifkin. That's an inside joke here. Um,
They sure move a lot. Bunch of
yes.
nomads
And then we got the Cleveland Browns.
who just traded away Amari Cooper. So
And then you got the
love Cleveland.
Colts,
A decently tough schedule, but not an impossible one.
the Chargers, the Bengals, and then you got the Chiefs again.
Yeah, anyone who's got to play the Chiefs twice in 1 year.
So I
Rough
think
boys.
Denver might just miss it. I think they might just miss
Yeah,
it.
like even if they have a winning season, they might just lose the playoff spot at the last second, I think. Because I think the Chiefs, like you said, are their last game of the year.
Yes.
And it's hard to beat the same team twice or even three times in the same year. So,
So yeah, I think Denver could make the playoffs, but it's going to be rough. They got a tough schedule coming up.
yeah, it's an uphill battle without a doubt.
Oh, absolutely. Okay. So are we ready to? All right. Now let's flip the ball to who dat? Who dat?
New Orleans Saints, and
The Nolan Saints.
let's recap their game against the Bucks. Oh my God, it
Oh
was
boy, Baker
slaughter.
Mayfield. Baker, touchdown maker.
Yeah, that was just nuts. The Bucks lost a 17-point lead and then came back to just tar and feather the Saints, overcoming three turnovers with 325 yards and four passing touchdowns.
Wow, that is beyond a tar feather, and that is like an absolute beating.
They just took my broken bat and went, "Oh, you want some? Come get some, boy."
Come get some. But anyway, recap from the Saints. Spencer Rattler, 22 completions out of 40 attempts, 243 yards, one touchdown, two interceptions, and was sacked 5 times.
240 yards is actually really good if you only focus on that and not the five sacks, two interceptions. Man got the crap kicked out of him.
That's being kind. That's being way too kind there, Pally.
Yeah,
Then you got Alvin Kamara, who scored a touchdown.
that's true.
And then you got a touchdown from Bub Means. All right, Spencer Rattler's performance last week. I'll give it a D.
Yeah, I
And that's
mean,
being generous.
I'd say that's a fair grade on the high end of fair, but just
Oh, you would have given him an F, wouldn't you?
D minus.
D minus or B minus?
D as in damn.
Oh, we're making shirts that say that, Johnny. D as a damn. They got a good. The Saints got a good old fashioned ass beating last week.
Oh my God. It was
What are your thoughts on good old fashioned ass beatings?
they are to be used sparingly and only when necessary.
Exactly. That was a good old fashioned ass beating. But no, with New Orleans, they scored 27 points in the second quarter. So you got to give credit where
Oh
credit's
yeah,
due.
absolutely. You've got to give them their due. But oh man, you lose that badly after that kind of first half performance. That has to be some sort of freaking wake up call.
Oh, it absolutely does. If you're the Saints, you're like,
We can't let that
we can't let
stuff
this,
happen again.
we can't let that happen again. We need to get our together.
That they do.
Yes, that's my version of censoring. Take that, YouTube. Oh,
Caught
YouTube.
myself in time.
You caught yourself just in time, my friend.
Yes, yes, I did.
And you know what you win for that one? Self-satisfaction and a handshake. But anyway, but Spencer Rattler tonight, yeah, he worries me from last week. If you're a Saints fan, he should worry you a little bit.
Oh, absolutely. Like that sort of just, for lack of a better term, collapse.
Oh,
That
that is a
cannot
collapse.
sit well with the New Orleans faithful.
And you know how the New Orleans faithful are.
Hmm. They are a passionate group.
My dad's been to New Orleans once to see a game, to see them play the Giants. He said it is an absolute party town and the place is crazy.
I will say though, at least it's not as dangerous, I feel like, as Philly,
Exactly.
especially as a Giants fan.
Yeah, that's one place I'm never going to watch a game.
Yeah. Like, unless it's maybe unless it's against the Cowboys, but that's a bit of a stretch.
Okay. If the Saints right now, they're 2-4. If they are under 500 at the trade deadline, which is on November 5th, which is, wow, election day.
Oh boy.
The trade deadline's on election day.
Man, that is the craziest shit to think about. Pardon my French.
Don't
All
forget to
night.
go out and vote.
Yes. We're not going to tell you who to vote for. We're just going to tell you to get your butt to the polls.
Get your butt to the polls, or we'll come drag you there ourselves. Do your civic duty.
It is your right, but it is also your responsibility.
We live in this wonderful thing called a democracy. So get your butt up and go to the polls. Check your tires, check everything to make sure you can get to the
Uber if you have to.
What was that?
I said order an Uber if you have to.
Yeah, I think they actually give free ride to the polls on election day.
That's actually pretty cool.
Hey, it's democracy. But anyway,
You were saying, Bill?
if they go 2-4 at the deadline, do you think maybe they should sort of rebuild?
Yeah, honestly, if they're only one or two games under 500, I feel like they've still got enough time to turn it around and have a respectable season. Like, even if they don't make the playoffs, if they have a respectable record, they can have momentum going into next season. But if they are three or more games under 500 by that point, I would just throw away the playbook and start rebuilding.
Is it time to start rebuilding,
Not yet.
or is it?
Depends on who you ask, but I guess I'm a little more optimistic than the average Joe.
Are you more optimistic than the average Joe?
I dare say yes.
Yeah, you know what's really gonna hit? You know what's really going to hit them? You know what's really gonna hit Denver? I mean, New Orleans.
Tell me.
Chris Olave is out. The wide receiver, Chris Olave, is out with a concussion, and someone else. I'm trying to pull up his name. I just exited out by mistake. Ding. No, wait, I have it right here. And Rashid
Shaheed.
Shaheed is also out. So do you think this is going to be a big blow to the New Orleans offense?
I think so. But it also puts a lot of pressure specifically on Alvin Kamara. He's got to step up if they want any chance of having a respectable record in 2024.
Oh, he's absolutely, because remember, week 2, he scored like what, 4 touchdowns in a game. We want to see that Alvin Kamara tonight.
Yes, yes.
We got to see that Alvin Kamara.
Yeah, and that's actually my X factor for the Saints is the two wide receivers that are injured and the fact that Alvin Kamara has to step up. Dude's already got 428 running yards and 6 rushing touchdowns. Add on to that 28 receptions for 238 yards and a receiving touchdown. So if the Saints can get their run game on track, especially with those other two guys out, who knows how far they can go.
Yes. Well, I guess we're jumping into X factors now. What a great transition.
Yeah.
My X factor for New Orleans is, I just had his name up here. Okay. Is Juan Johnson, I think that's how you say his name, the tight end, because without Alve and Shahid, I think I think I think Juan Johnson is going. He's the tight end, and I think he's going to be one of the top receivers. Even though he's a tight end, he's going to be one of the top receivers that Rattler's going to be looking for tonight without Shahid and Olive.
Oh yeah, him and Kamara, they're going to be stepping up like nobody's business.
Yeah, so I think Kamara and Johnson are going to be the X factors tonight. Who do you think is going to be the X factor for Denver?
um, for tonight, uh, hard to say, but I would say Bo Nix actually, because like we were saying earlier, he had a bit of a rocky start, but he's turned it around, got the Broncos to 500, and their strength of schedule after October, like you said, is pretty rough. Considering they have to face the Chiefs twice, plus a couple of extra rough teams in the Ravens and the Falcons and all that. So they cannot afford to lose this game.
Oh, they absolutely cannot. You know what my X factor is going to be?
Let's hear it.
The rush game, the run game. Last week, the Saints allowed 133.7 rushing yards. Not last week, just in total, they've allowed 133.7 rushing yards per game. But in the which is the 13th most in the NFL, in their last three games, the average has almost been 200 yards at a flat 196 yards per game. And last week the Saints allowed the Buccaneers 277 yards, while the Broncos have averaged 107.3 rushing yards per game, with over 100 yards in each of their last four games. And their season high as of now is 136 against the Tampa Bay Bucks. So
Where's that put him in the ranking?
what was that?
I said, where's that put him in the ranking?
I don't know. They didn't have it there.
Fair
But
enough.
I'm going to say this. Are you ready? I think the Denver Broncos are going to take advantage of this weak New Orleans rush defense.
Yeah, I gotta agree with you there. They're going to just absolutely tear those guys apart. So definitely New Orleans offense has to step up to pick up the slack.
Oh, absolutely. With Ale and Shaheed being out, you got to turn to Johnson. You got to turn to Kamara. That's going to be your big. Those are going to be your big. That's going to be your big X factors. Sorry, my brain is at like half functioning right now.
It's all good. I've had those days. But yeah, those guys are going to be the cornerstones for a while,
Oh,
at
agree.
least this season. And if you break one of them in half, that's it.
Oh, absolutely. So anyway, last question. Who do you got tonight, Johnny?
Honestly, I've got it being a pretty close game with the Saints taking home the win.
Really?
Excuse me. Yeah, like I said, it is going to be a tight matchup. This uh, the passing game and the run game. Like I feel like the offenses are going to score a lot of points. So even if it's just one scores difference, it is going to be a high scoring, just absolute offensive, how you say, fireworks show.
I think it can be.
Yeah, especially like you said, like if the New Orleans run defense gets absolutely hammered and the Broncos pass defense gets hammered, just throw the over under out the window.
I'm gonna take a different route here. I think Denver's gonna win this game. I think they were closer last week against the Los Angeles Chargers of San Diego. And they're all and also I think right now the like I said, the run defense is going to be a big weak spot for the Saints. And I think tonight, I think Denver needs to take advantage of that. So
Absolutely do.
I'm gonna say Denver 31, New Orleans 24.
All right. Still a close game, one touchdown apart.
All right. So if you like what you see here, go to www.thesportsinsanitynetwork.com. Check out our blogs, our personal history. Check out everything there. Don't forget to check us out on our socials on X. And don't forget to check us out here on YouTube. Like, comment, subscribe, and hit that bell. And John, thank you for joining me this evening.
Glad to be here, Bill. Thank you for
Hopefully you'll
having
be
me.
back more.
Yeah, I'm planning on it.
Hopefully you'll be back more so we can talk more football. Everyone, enjoy the game. Stay safe. Take care.
Yes, please.